Sometimes life doesn't answer right away. You speak, and the echo comes back late. You move forward, and the world seems to say, not yet. This is for those moments. This is for the people who are trying quietly, for the ones who are doing the work when no one is watching, for the ones who feel left behind, misunderstood, or unseen, yet still wake up every day with hope in their chest. Wait for me isn't a plea for sympathy. It's a promise. It's the voice of someone who knows they're not there yet, but they're on the way. Someone who refuses to rush their healing, their growth, their becoming just to make others comfortable. If you've ever felt late to your own life, if you've ever watched others pass you and wondered if you missed your moment, if you've ever whispered to the world, I'm trying, I'm learning, I'm still standing, then this message is for you. Not everything arrives on time, but everything meaningful arrives with purpose. So if the world is moving too fast, take a breath. Plant your feet and say it with strength. There are moments in life when everything around you feels faster than your heart can handle. When people seem to arrive at destinations you haven't even seen yet. When success, love, peace, and certainty appear to be handed out to others while you're still learning how to breathe through the weight of your own thoughts. And in those moments, the world can make you feel late, as if life is a race you somehow forgot to train for. But becoming is not an event, it is a process. And a process doesn't apologize for taking time. It doesn't explain itself. It doesn't move faster just because someone else is watching. It grows quietly, painfully, honestly, and sometimes slowly is the only way something real can survive. You don't see roots growing, but without them, the tree falls. And you don't always see what's happening inside a person who is taking their time. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means the work is deep. It means the foundation is being built where no applause exists. And that kind of work doesn't look impressive until the moment it holds everything together. Time is not your enemy, even when it feels like it's leaving you behind. Even when you look at the calendar and feel a tightening in your chest. Even when birthdays, deadlines, expectations, and comparisons pile up like unanswered questions, time is shaping you, teaching you patience when you wanted speed, strength when you wanted ease, and clarity when you wanted certainty. Becoming takes time because truth takes time, because healing takes time, because learning who you are without the noise of who you were told to be cannot be rushed. And if you force it, you don't arrive faster. You arrive fractured, carrying pieces of yourself that never had the chance to grow whole. There is no shame in saying, wait for me, not because you are weak, not because you are incapable, but because you respect the journey enough to not lie about where you are. You respect yourself enough to move at a pace that won't destroy you. And you understand that arriving late as yourself is better than arriving early as someone you're not. Every moment you feel behind is also a moment you're learning something others may have skipped. Empathy, patience, resilience, humility, the ability to sit with discomfort and not run from it. And those lessons don't show up on resumes or timelines, but they show up when life gets heavy, when things fall apart, when the noise fades and only character remains. You are not wasting time when you're becoming. You are investing it, even if the returns aren't visible yet, even if the world doesn't clap for quiet growth, even if no one understands why you're not moving faster, why you're not there yet, why you're still figuring things out. So when you say, wait for me, you are not asking the world to stop. You are reminding yourself that your story is still unfolding, that you are allowed to take the time it takes, that becoming is not measured by speed but by depth, and that what is built slowly is often what lasts when everything else collapses. Silence has a way of being misunderstood, especially in a world that rewards noise and speed, where being quiet is often mistaken for being lost, weak, or absent. But silence is not emptiness. It is not giving up. It is not falling behind. Silence is where preparation happens, where the noise settles enough for truth to surface. There are seasons when you don't have the words yet, not because you have nothing to say, but because what you're becoming hasn't finished forming. And speaking too soon would only betray the process, so you stay quiet. You listen, you observe, you let life teach you in ways that only stillness allows. Silence is where you learn who you are without performance, without approval, without the pressure to impress. It strips away the need to prove anything and replaces it with the courage to understand everything. And that kind of learning doesn't shout, it whispers. People may think you disappeared, that you stopped trying, that you lost your fire, but what they don't see is the work happening beneath the surface. the questions you're asking yourself late at night, the habits you're unlearning, the strength you're building slowly, deliberately, honestly. Preparation doesn't look heroic. It looks lonely. It looks boring. It looks like repetition, patience, and restraint. It looks like choosing growth over validation, like walking away from noise, even when noise would be easier, even when silence makes others uncomfortable. In silence, you face yourself without distractions, without excuses, without an audience. And that's not easy because silence doesn't lie. It reflects. It shows you what needs healing, what needs forgiveness, what needs to be rebuilt. And it gives you the space to do that work without rushing. Not every chapter of your life needs commentary. Some chapters need depth, and depth requires quiet. It requires time where nothing seems to be happening on the outside while everything is changing on the inside. So when you are silent, you are not absent from your life. You are present in it in the most honest way, preparing for a version of yourself that won't need to explain where you've been. Because the strength you carry will speak for you. Falling behind is one of the most misunderstood experiences a person can have because it feels like failure when it's happening. It feels like you took a wrong turn, like you missed something everyone else seemed to understand. But sometimes falling behind is the moment you finally stop running in the wrong direction. When you're constantly trying to keep up, you don't always notice where you're going. You just move because everyone else is moving. You chase milestones that were never meant for you. And one day you realize you're exhausted, disconnected, and far from yourself. And that's when life slows you down on purpose. Being behind creates space. Space to question, to reflect, to realign, to ask yourself whether the path you were on actually belonged to you, or whether you were just following footsteps because it felt safer than standing still. There are lessons you only learn when you're not in the front. When you're watching instead of leading, when you're listening instead of speaking, when you're forced to sit with uncertainty instead of outrunning it. And those lessons shape judgment, patience, and wisdom in ways success never does. The right path doesn't always look efficient. It doesn't always make sense from the outside, and it rarely comes with immediate results. But it feels honest. It feels grounded. It feels like something you can carry without losing yourself. Sometimes life pulls you back, not to punish you, but to redirect you, to move you away from an ending that wasn't yours toward a beginning you couldn't see yet. And in that space between where you were and where you're going, you learn how to trust your own pace. So being behind is not proof that you're failing. It's often proof that you're paying attention, that you're choosing meaning over momentum, that you're allowing yourself to find the right path instead of the fastest one. Arrival is not defined by how quickly you get there, but by who you are when you finally do. Because speed can deliver you to a place before you're ready to hold what you've reached, and arriving too early often costs more than arriving late. When you move fast, you collect milestones, but when you move with intention, you collect understanding. And understanding is what keeps success from hollowing you out once the excitement fades. There are people who reached everything they wanted and still feel unfinished. Not because they failed, but because they skipped the work that teaches you how to live inside what you achieve. And that work takes time, mistakes, pauses, and reflection. Every step you take at your own pace adds weight to your arrival. It gives meaning to where you stand because you know what it took to get there. What you had to face, what you had to let go of, what you had to become. Speed impresses others, but depth sustains you. And when the noise settles, when the applause fades, depth is what remains, allowing you to stand without needing validation to prove your worth. So when your moment comes, it won't feel rushed or borrowed. It will feel earned, steady, and real. Because arriving as yourself is the only arrival that ever lasts. Healing is not something you force into a schedule. It doesn't respond well to pressure, deadlines, or comparisons. Because healing isn't about fixing what's visible. It's about sitting with what hurts long enough for it to loosen its grip, and anything that deep refuses to be rushed. When pain first shows up, the instinct is to escape it, to cover it with movement, noise, distractions, or quick solutions. To tell yourself you're fine before you are. To smile before the weight has lifted. But unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It waits. And when it returns, it carries interest. Rushing healing is how people learn to survive without learning how to live. It's how they build armor instead of strength, habits instead of understanding, and walls instead of boundaries. And from the outside, it can look like progress while inside everything remains fragile. Real healing asks you to slow down when you want to run, to feel when you want to numb, to remember when you want to forget. And that's uncomfortable because healing doesn't just touch the wound. It touches the story around it, the choices you made, the things you ignored, the moments you stayed silent when you should have spoken and spoke when you should have listened. There is grief in healing, not just for what happened, but for who you were before it happened, for the innocence you didn't know you were losing, for the version of yourself that trusted easily, loved openly, believed freely. And letting go of that version takes time, honesty, and patience. When people rush healing, they often skip grief. And grief doesn't like being skipped. It demands to be acknowledged. It demands space. And when it's denied, it leaks into anger, bitterness, fear, or emptiness, shaping decisions in ways that don't always make sense. Healing slowly means allowing yourself to be human without judgment. It means accepting that some days you will feel strong and other days you will feel undone. And neither of those days defines you. They are just part of the process. It means learning to sit with discomfort without assuming something is wrong. Understanding that pain doesn't always mean damage. Sometimes it means growth, like muscles tearing before they strengthen, like skin healing before it scars. Healing teaches patience, not as weakness, but as discipline. The discipline to not abandon yourself just because progress is invisible. The discipline to keep showing up even when there is no clear sign that things are getting better yet. There is a quiet courage in healing at your own pace, especially when the world expects you to be over it by now, expects you to move on, to let go, to stop talking about it. But healing isn't about meeting expectations. It's about restoring balance inside yourself. And when healing is allowed to happen fully, without being rushed, without being forced into someone else's timeline, it doesn't just repair what was broken. It reshapes you into someone who understands pain without being controlled by it. Someone who carries softness without weakness, strength without bitterness, and clarity without losing compassion. And that person, the one who waited, who stayed patient, who refused to rush, that is the version of you the world has been waiting for all along.